Now for section 4.4.11, a survey asks questions about one's happiness and health. One would think that the health plays a role in one's happiness. Now use the data in the accompanying table to determine whether healthier people tend to also be happier, and treat level of health as the explanatory variable. Now we have 3 rows which says not too happy, pretty happy, and very happy, and then we have 4 columns which go from poor, fair, good, and excellent, and therefore you can see what the survey results end up being. So now after we have the survey results, we're going to go ahead and then add the totals for each column. So the totals for the column that represents poor is 1,955. The totals for the column that represent fair is 6,532. The totals for good is 15,791, and excellent is 10,976. Now, to determine whether healthier people tend to also be happier, we construct a conditional distribution of happiness by health. A conditional distribution lists the relative frequency of each category of a variable given a specific value of the other variable in the contingency table. So therefore what we do is we take this element, which is 680, and we're going to divide by the total of that column, which is 1955, which gives us 0.348. And you would do the same for the other 3. Now again, if you add up these totals, it should give you a total of 1. Likewise, the total for fair, we have 6,532, and the numerator represents each element in that particular column. So you take 1,353, divide that by the total of the column, which gives you 0.207, and you do the same for the next 2. Likewise, for good, the total is 15,791. We're going to take the first element, 1,629, divide that by the total, and we do the same for the other 2. And then last, for excellent, we're going to take the number of 726, which is the first element in that column, and divide it by the total, which then gives you the result. Now, the next part we want to be able to do is now draw a bar graph of the found conditional distribution. And so we draw 3 bars for each level of happiness. So we have 3 bars for each level of happiness. The first bar for people who are not too happy, the second bar for people who are pretty happy, and a third bar for people who are very happy. And then the horizontal axis will represent the health, and the vertical axis will represent the relative frequency. So if we take a look at the first level of happiness, so here's our level of happiness, here's the level of health, which is poor. So if we look at the level of health, which is poor, this goes all the way up to a percentage of about 0.348, which is right below 0.4. And then for pretty happy, we have 0.478, which is above or pretty close to 0.5. And then for the last one, for very happy, it's around 0.174. And then we do the same thing for fair to make sure that those values match our bar graph. And the same thing for good, make sure that those values match for our bar graph. And then for the last one, for excellent, we want to make sure that those values match for our bar graph. Now, determine if the percent who are not too happy decreases, which is the first bar for each level of health, when health increases. Also determine if the percent who are very happy increases, which is the third bar for each level of health, when health increases. Now, since as health increases, the percent that are happy increases, while the percent that are not too happy decreases, healthier people tend to be happier.